Well, what's up, good evening, guys? Brian here, the Three Topics Gamer. I have a quick little discussion for you to share with you today. As I'm sure you can tell from the title, I'll be talking about last night's The Video Game Awards 2021 and just going over just my initial thoughts on the entire show, talk about a few things that they announced, my overall experience, and as you can tell from the title, why I think it was just severely underwhelming. Now, the primary thing, just to sum up why I thought the show was just kind of underwhelming. It's just, for one, I thought the show was too long for what they ultimately ended up doing. I mean, I was absolutely horrified when I found out this show was going to be like 3.5 hours long. I thought that was like way too long. I think that with all the extra stuff they threw in and the lack of announcements that I actually cared about, they could have easily had cut like an hour off, and I think the show would have had a much better pace. Another thing was the lack of important announcements. Personally, as I go down the list, they announced only like one or maybe two games I was even interested in, and then some of the winners I was like completely baffled. I mean, the idea that a game like It Takes Two won Game of the Year, which I was very confused about because it's a game that I logistically can't even play. Apparently, you can't play that game solo, from what I've heard. And since I don't have anyone to play that with, I mean that cuts like a big majority of people that couldn't have even experienced this game. And I think that a game that, from what I could tell, because I saw like one of my friends stream this on Twitch one time. Apparently, it's a story about a divorced couple that gets turned to a couple of dolls and has to solve some Little Big Planet style puzzles in order to convince their daughter that getting a divorce is such a bad idea. Even though I learned that lesson when I was a kid when I watched Mrs. Doubtfire. So when my own parents got divorced when I was 16 years old, I wasn't too broken up about it. I mean, that's what this game is about. I mean, that sounds like that's not a very uplifting game. And heck, when I play games, I'd like to kind of have like either learn an important lesson that I could take away from it, or feel like a total badass and think like I achieved something. But I don't. I mean, look. I mean, overall, I think it's inspiring that a little indie game could win Game of the Year. But I'm to be honest, I'm actually not too broken up about it. I'm just puzzled by it, and I'm actually more excited for next year's Game Awards, which is definitely going to have some major heavy hitters, and I'm more looking forward to see how that one turns out. So as I go down the list, like, they just didn't really announce too many things. I mean, okay, like Star Wars Eclipse. We got a cinematic for that. Now, I'm a little bit confused about how this is going to work, because I'm at the point where you don't get a pass from me if you have a cinematic. You need to give me some details. Now, they showed some quick shots of different periods throughout Star Wars, and it's coming from Quantic Dreams. Now, look, I'm a fan of Quantic Dreams. I mean, I'm all for their games, like, Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls and Detroit Become Human. So I'm a fan of that style of game. My question is that what we're going to get with Star Wars? Because with how action focused that Star Wars is. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like you can't tell like a story, an action game that has like story driven elements about characters. You can certainly do that, but I'm just kind of puzzled if their Quantic Dreams is attempting to do something different. So the fact that we just got a cinematic about random periods throughout Star Wars history. At first I thought it was like more information on KOTOR, but I'm just not sure what we're gonna get from that. So there was that. I mean, hopefully we'll learn more about it. So there's that. Then they showed some footage of YouTube short sponsors. I mean, there's a lot of sponsors to the point where it got annoying. They announced a Wonder Woman game. I hate Wonder Woman as a character, so I won't be touching that. They announced a Gollum game, which from what I could see is like a stealth trap game where you're playing as Gollum and you'll have to use traps in order to kill orcs. And I mean, that's not really my type of game. They announced like a couple Warhammer games. I've never played a Warhammer game, so not a fan. They announced a Saints Row reboot. I've never played a Saints Row game, so not interested. They announced Dune Spice Wars. Stupid name, but I'm guessing it's some sort of a, real-time strategy game. They announced Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I mean, they showed off more of that. I'm not really a Borderlands fan in general. I tried playing it like a couple times, and I wasn't really a fan of it. ARC Rangers, not interested. They showed off they announced this, like, I guess free to play game, Matrix Awakening, that uses the Unreal Engine 5 experience, which apparently you can play right now. I haven't played it right now, but after I'm done filming this, maybe I'll do that. And then they announced Game of the Year, and really, they showed off Sonic 2 trailer, which was awesome. I was already gonna go see that film. It looked, I enjoyed the first one, so that was gonna be awesome. But honestly, the only new game that they announced that I thought was, I'm happy they announced it, was they announced Alan Wake 2, which, heck, since, Alan Wake is still kind of fresh in everyone's mind since I really enjoyed the remake. This was originally an Xbox exclusive game, and after 10 years, it finally came to PlayStation. I was able to play it, and I thought, you know what? They could really do, just definitely could use a sequel. And after 10 years, we're finally going to get one. And they've said that since they've already, like the creator just said that it would be much more survival horror instead of survival action, which, heck, I definitely think could work. But this game is like 2 years away, so I think it's a little bit early to announce this game. I'm happy that I know it's coming, but they could have waited another 6 months at like a more significant time to announce this. And that was really it. A couple of performances, a lot of promotions. They added like a lot of woke elements and talking about representation and stuff like this, and I'm just like, dude, my attention was divided between three different things. I was watching the award show on Twitch on this screen. I was watching Thursday Night Football last night with the Steelers and the Vikings on this screen, while playing a video game on my 50-inch screen TV back there. So overall, the Game Awards was just kind of underwhelming. And I actually had a talk. I actually messaged a friend of mine on Twitter, and he'd actually been to one of these shows in the past, or a number of shows, and I actually thought, it would be pretty cool to go to one of these. But dear God, if I had gone to this show in person and had to sit there for like 4 or 5 hours, man, I never would want to go to these again. So I'm just really kind of disappointed with the lack of Sony. Some of you guys know, I'm a big Sony person, so the fact that Sony really wasn't present here at all was just disappointing. And I think for just me personally, it hurt the show. I know that there's some people that probably enjoyed the show. That's all good and dandy, but I think moving forward, I think we need to work on the pacing. I would definitely cut back on the show and definitely get some more major announcements. I'm sure there's enough major announcements for a lot of people here that are perfectly fine with that, but for me, I was just not impressed. I could have easily had not watched this show, and I honestly would not have missed all that much outside of finally seeing the Sonic trailer and the announcement of Alan Wake 2 and of Star Wars Eclipse, which again, we still don't know anything about that game except it's going to be Star Wars related. But more information would have been more helpful. Just a little bit of information. So those are just my quick thoughts on why I thought that the Game Awards 2021 was kind of underwhelming. Now, if you happen to sit through the entire 3.5 hour show, I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. Did you guys think it was underwhelming? What did you think? Did you think the winners were right? Did you think some games should have won over others? Were there some games you wish they would have at least announced or like showed off, or games that we'd heard in the past that you would have hoped to have seen more about and gotten an update on? Share your thoughts with me, never notice in the comments down below. And if you like this little discussion video, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep track of me on all my future videos for the rest of the month. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you all next time.